Oh, well, hello, I'm one of the broskies and broskas of the Maverick Nation. Justa. Oh, trollage. Which is kind of what the situation I'll put myself in here feels like. This channel is mainly what if content. Hmm. And some audio thing. Anyways, basically, in part, this is going to be part 3 of What If Lancer, what, basically, what if Lancer was Vanilla Sam's friend? Or, what even the hell is the name of it? What if Lancer was friends with Vanilla Sands? Part 3. This is What if Lancer was friends with Vanilla Sands? Part 3. Last time when we left off, basically, yeah, Vanilla Sam's deaths and Lancer had just been, they just dropped, Vanilla just dropped them into the Underswap universe. And, they'd heard some arguing in between Blueberry and, Swap Papyrus. Because that's what Swap Sands is called, Blueberry. Anyways. They're now, trying to figure out what to do. Like Vanilla Sands, D.S.M, Lancer. Well, Lancer's never really been to an Undertale AU, or Undertale in general, so he doesn't know, but D.S and Vanilla Sands both know this is Snowden. Or at least Underswap's version of Snowden. Jesus. And, well, that's about it. The only thing that Vanilla really has a record of is that, well, basically, this is a flip. Everyone here is a flip of their roles in the classic timeline. And he also knows that it's a flip of the classic timeline, so everybody's roles are reversed. And also, he's slightly aware of the fact that this universe's papyrus is a part of a little thing called the Bad Time Trio, which is made up of Classic Sans, this universe's papyrus, and Story Shift Chara. And he's just like, I'm not. Damn it! I'm so used to doing My Hero Academia what ifs that I make these kind of mistakes. Jesus Christ! Ugh, Christ Almighty! Christ in a bike. Basically, after hearing all that, Lancer's just like, oh, why are they called the Bad Time Trio? And like, Vanilla's just like, believe me, Lancer, you don't want to know. You just don't want to know. It's just like, it's like, you don't want to know. It's better if you don't know. Better if you don't know why. Trust me, buddy. It's better if you don't know why. They're called the Bad Time Trio. And then all of a sudden, someone to the side is like, so you want to know why we're called the Bad Time Trio? And Vanilla's just like, what the fuck? And that person's just like, what the shit? What was that for? You could have killed me. And Vanilla's just like, you son of a... I was right there, you teleported right next to me! And Lancer... He just, like, Vanilla is having a hissy fit. He's just like, you could have hurt my boy. You could have hurt him. It's just like, basically, uh, Swap Papyrus is listening in to their little conversation and pretty much knows everything. It's like, D.S.M is just like, yeah, they're kinda right. That was pretty dickish of you. And Swap Papyrus is just like, I don't remember asking you for your opinion. And D.S.M is just like, you sassy bitch. That's how you want to go? Then by all means, come right at me. And Manoa's like, oh, hell no. This guy's a part of the Bad Time Trio. I'm not letting him touch you. Or Lancer, especially Lancer. And Des actually brings something up. Like, by the way, why did you mention to Ink that they could have attacked or went after me whenever they went after Lancer? And, like, basically, Vanilla's like, it was just an example. I have nothing against you. It's just an example, okay? And Des is like, huh, yeah, you made me worried there for a second. Worried that you were gonna, dump me. And Vanilla's like, in what way? And Des is like, you know in what way? And he's like, I'm not that kind of skeleton. And Vanilla was just like, it's just like, basically, Swap Papyrus is just like, yeah. And there was like a bunch of bones, and some of them are blue, and Like, Vanilla's just, oh, so we're gonna do this now. And then someone just hears, hey, Papyrus, what are you doing? And Swap Papyrus is like, Swans? And Vanilla's like, hey, never take your eyes off your opponent, dumbass. And he's just like, shh. And he's about to behead him. He's about to bring the blade down. And, like, Lancer's like, hold on. Like, uh, who are any of you? And Swap Sans is like, oh, sorry for the rude introduction. I'm the Sensational Sans. And this is my brother, well, he's Papyrus. And you are? And Lancer's like, oh, my manners. Sorry about that, Vanilla. I should have told them my name first. Or maybe just go by your original rules said about, like, not saying anything at all, letting you handle it. But we'd have two dead monsters on our consciences if that happened. And I realized that real quick and in a hurry. And Vanilla's like, you are like, he's just like, he's really like proud of like, he's just like really proud of like the fact that he noticed and that freaking that they would have died if he had let him finish it, or at least Virus would have died because Vanilla's OP as frick. Yeah, the medallion and the sword, plus his Sans powers, and all the powers the medallion gives him, and even the powers that the sword gives him, is like, it's freaking crazy. And so basically, you know, Lancer, he basically is just like, oh, so well, I guess we should move on then. My name is Lancer, and this is my friend D.S.M, and this is my new dad, Vanilla Sans. And Swap Papyrus is like, wait, new dad? And Lancer's like, yeah, some stuff happened. My old dad was going to kill me, but Vanilla Sans stopped that, and then he, uh, killed my old dad and destroyed his castle in the process. Uh, or was it the other way around in the process? I'm kind of hard to remember. It seems so long ago. Maybe that's just because I'm, so much progress from all that Vanilla Sans is teaching me. And Swap Sans is like, oh, so you're Sans from another AU? And Vanilla Sans is just like, yeah, why do you care? And basically, Papyrus is just like, Swap Papyrus. He's like, what was that? And Vanilla's like, yeah, why do any of you care? It's not like it's going to last long, anyways. Not if we stay here. I thought this place was more tame of a freaking dimension. And it's just crazy. You know, it's crazy, but eventually swaps hands, convinces Swap Papyrus, his brother, to let them stay. At least until they could get all their plans sorted out and find somewhere else to go. At the triple sip. At the triple nip. The triple truffle supple. Triple truffle supple. Oh. But, well, while Vanilla Sans, Des, and Lancer are staying the night, basically one of the nights, Lancer, he can't really sleep, so he's basically pestering Des, and Des is like, 5 more minutes, and Des, like, Lancer's just like, Des, I can't sleep, and I don't want to wake up Vanilla Sans. I'll probably be cranky in the morning. And at least whenever you're cranky, Vanilla can, shut you up. And Des is like, don't remind me of the last time that happened. And, well, basically, whenever they do wake up, it's basically like, it's like, it's just like, Lancer's just stroking his cheek. He's like, something feels weird. It's been far too peaceful for far too long, considering that guy wanted to, kill us, and his brother, it was like the opposite. So, what in the absolute hell? I, it's keeping me awake. Just the mood swing in terms of personality and way of thinking. Classic timeline like this, only reversed, because, swap tail. If it is, then, oh boy, can't stop thinking about it. So wrong. Wait, a guy. Swap Papyrus. There's noise coming from his room. Wait, Des, are you even awake? Ugh. Well, seeing as he's asleep, he won't mind if I check. And he just goes into Swap Papyrus's room. Well, he's about to. He, like, creaks it a little. But he is, like, hearing something. Almost like the Swap Papyrus guy is, like dimension to dimension, like cross dimension, like talking to someone like cross dimensions. And basically, Swap Papyrus is like, so how is Underlust treating you, Ink? And like Lancer's just like, no, you can't be. But it's unmistakable. That's even where Vanilla said he took him. Nice where he said he put him in. And it's just like Vanilla. Just it's like Ink is just like, how do you think it's treating me, Papyrus? You better have fixed that damn thing by now. And you know what I mean by that damn thing. I want out of here, and for some reason, my powers have been malfunctioning, so I can't just teleport out or create some sort of hole in the fabric of reality to escape. Something's wrong with Brushy. Something that guy did. I need your help. Please, tell me you're at least close to being done. And, like, Swap Papyrus is like, ugh, call them your skeletons, Ink. I've been done for quite some time, but whenever you said that he might possibly be coming here because this was supposed to be one of the tamer timelines, universes, I just had to see. I just had to know. And Ink is like, what the? You could have been killed! And Swap Papyrus is just like, well, the only time he seemed to go after me is whenever he thought I was getting a little bit too close to his son, at least now son, Lancer. Sounds like someone's up. Probably Sans. I'm probably gonna have to read him Fluffy Bunny again. He's been having these nightmares. He says that something about the dark kingdom, but anytime I've tried to relay a message, something about a dark kingdom, but anytime I have anything to do with Nightmare Tale, I always get cut off. Seems that Nightmare Sans guy really does not like me. Can't be helped. I am one of the bad time trio after all. Speaking and Ink is just like, speaking of bad time trio, how about we bring everyone home for that? Yes, a declaration of war against those. Calm yourself. Calm yourself. And like Swap Papyrus is just like, a declaration of war. Are you sure you're sound in the head, Ink? And Ink is like, you do know that gold dust and crystal would never lie, right? I mean, they are the organic. They are the organic part of that family. Vanilla, he was created in a lab by his father. He's not a father, he's a creator. And he didn't even stay on that time for his creation to fully develop. And we all know who the said creator is. However, Timetail Sans doesn't want me to touch him, or else he says he'll erase the Doodle Sphere from existence. The approval from the entirety of the council. And even at my dismay, even the approval of Dream. And basically, like, Swap Papyrus is just like, even at the approval of Dream, he wanted you to. he he said he said that he's basically just like, well then, I guess I will call up those two. It's a declaration of war you want, it's a declaration of war you'll get. I'm sure Chara and that Sans mind as soon as they hear about who's accompanying those two. And Lancer is just like, he's like, he's just like, because he has just heard that there's gonna be a declaration of war on their asses. So like, Des and Vanilla get woken up very early, but very like, shaky, shaky, shaky. Like, wake up! But at the same time, Lancer isn't trying to be too loud because he doesn't want Swap to know, like Swap Papyrus, because he agreed with Vanilla on the whole declaration of war, so he would probably try to stop them from leaving. And Swap Sands is like, he actually does like try to go to Swap Papyrus's room because of the whole fluffy bunny thing, like nightmares. But he sees Lancer like trying to get Vanilla and Des to get off their lazy asses. Well, Vanilla not so much, but Des definitely. Des definitely. And why I say Vanilla not so much is because that would only be if he was like in his Sans form. But remember, he likes the humanistic form more. Anyways, like Swap Sans is like, guys, where are you going? And like Lancer now, he just like hears this voice in his head. You are filled with determination. You are filled with determination to escape before your friends are slaughtered as a declaration of war. And like visions like just flash in like Lancer's eyes of his friends being slaughtered. And he's not gonna have that. He's not gonna have his friend Des and his like father figure Vanilla Sands be killed all because of ink and the people that are gonna come over here to like help Swap Papyrus, like basically just kill them all off. But he ends up accidentally blurting that out loud to Swap Sands. And Swap Sands is like, what? What? But he sees the look on, Lancer's face, and it's not just a look of determination. It's a look that says, I ain't lying, Mo. I ain't lying, mofo. I ain't lying at all. It's just a look that says, automatically, you just know they aren't lying to you. This person is not lying to you. That's the look that he's getting from Lancer. And so, just deep down inside, for some reason, it's like Swap Sands feels obligated to believe that. And, he's like, Bad Time Trio. Classic Timeline Sands, my brother, and this story shift Chara? Uh, you mean like the story shift version of the other human? And Lance is like, that's who Char is, the other human. He's like actually getting kind of pissed because it's this sweet time that they could be having, to escape, and under Swap, Sans is just like, I know a guy, and Underswap is just like he gets a cell phone instead of using the landline phone because he can mute his cell phone so it doesn't make any sound. Besides like the buzzing of like the buffering, like the bzzz. But really, Underswap pirates wouldn't be able to hear that from how far away they are, and the fact that he doesn't even believe that they're awake yet. And so he's just like, "Come on, Dust, pick up, pick up, pick up, pick up, you lazy bastard!" It's just like, "Yes, Dust Sands, ready to kill you." And it's just like, "What did you just say to me?" And Dust is like, "What, Blue? Uh, what is it? Is there a problem?" And it's just like Blue just explains everything. Everything is explained, and Dust is just he is automatically trying to hightail it to the Underswap universe. But then all of a sudden he feels some strings tugging at his soul. And it's just like, oh, you're not going anywhere. Did you forget about the bet? Remember, you lost. Not going to ever be around him ever again. And basically, Air was not trying to hide his voice at all. And, Blueberry hears this and he's like, Air, I will cut you like a fish. What's left of your bone marrow. If you don't let Dust help now. And Air's like, I have a better idea. How about we both help? And it's just like, and it's basically from Outer Tail. They all get teleported to Outer Tail. Yeah, Air just like opens up portals and attaches strings to them and pulls them into the portals, and they end up in Outer Tail. But just so happens that Blueberry was so loud that his brother Swap Papyrus could actually hear this, and he figured out, and he just so happened to lift himself up into the air, like fly off into the air, and sneak past one of the portals. He has his own like dimensional like time, space time, hyper time, that kind of shit that he does every now and then. And it's just like all of a sudden Paris is like, how are things going? And Ink is like, well, thanks to Classic, I'm out of Wanderlust, finally. And thanks to you know who, they're not going to be able to stop us. After all, what's a monster compared to a human that is filled to the brim with true, bona fide determination? And basically, like, Chara just hears this, and like, story shift Chara's like, oh, God, why do they have to bring up the fact that I'm associated with them? And, like, Classic Sans just brings up, you're not associated with Ink. We are associated with each other. We're just helping Ink out because Well, it just so happens that the universe, all universes, tend to favor ink over vanilla. And actually, this kind of is the truth if you think about it. And so story shift charge is like, so we're taking the more favorable course of action. And classic sin is like, of course, I don't have to be, as active if we do that. And freaking just story shift charge is like, I will kill you if I have to. And like freaking like the underswap papyrus is just like, well, yeah, and it's crazy. Like whenever Des, Vanilla Sands, and like Lancer eventually like basically they're pulled from Outer Tail, like Air pulls them from Outer Tail and himself, and they're basically Air like string tracks them into his anti void, and he's like the only the only person who can follow you guys in here is ink. And I also mentioned that the whole Dustberry thing is here too, like Blueberry and Dust are also there. And it's just like the more the merrier, the less people die, I guess. And so Air is just like, so, what do we do now? And Ink is like, I don't think so. And so basically just opens up through the doodle sphere into the anti void and like repaired Brushy, just like raggles like everyone in like the bad time trio, like they're able to come through, and Eric's like, oh shit, it's them. Fuck. He's like, no, Ramith, the meme lives. You shall not die. If only it were true for our heroes. It's just like freaking like Ink is there and the Bad Time Trio are there and just Dream is also there. Yeah, Dream is there as well. And also Color Sands because Color Sands heard about this and it's like, well, I guess I'll just observe until it's time to make ends meet. So yeah, Color Sands is more on the semi-neutral side. Would only really fight if it got to the point where, they thought their help was necessary. And, and there's Underfresh. And he's just like, he's not gonna do jack shit. He's just gonna freaking sit there and watch the fun. And for the meantime, that's what Color Sand is doing. Only they don't really think this whole big declaration of war thing is fun. Neither the war itself. And Eric's just like, Ugh, this is pointless. And you do know that I'm not just going to give this up. Besides, blue over there is only in their own universe because of what happened with Nightmare and his brother, both meanings dream and underswap papyrus. So yeah, it thanks to Dream and Underswap Papyrus, Blue was kind of able to, you know, escape the clutches of error. Yeah, it's just, it's crazy if you know what I mean. And the anti-void is only so vast, and error's like, I don't need it being messed up by having this creativity hack in here for any longer than they're supposed to be. So Air devises a plan. Why don't we bring the war to the darker world? And he's like, guys, you would have the advantage. Home feel the advantage if it happened that way. And Lancer's like, I don't know. And Ink, like, not Ink, but Vanilla is just like, I have a feeling I don't really have a say in this. And D.S is just like, sure, we'll go for it. I mean, the worst thing that could possibly happen. Well, technically, Ink isn't really going to kill his own creations, is he? I mean, I'm sure these seem more like side projects to him, but they're still his creations, I think. And Lancer's like, and that's just it. You think, you don't know. And Vanilla's like, damn, I'm proud of you. He's just like, damn, I'm proud of you. But Air ends up making up their minds for them whenever Dust and Blueberry are getting a little bit talkative with each other, and Air doesn't like that. So he ends up making up their minds for them. Go into the darker world. Because he sure ain't having this war here. Not in his precious anti-void. Worst thing that happens, him and Ink have to fight in the anti-void. But he can always repair the damage if it's just a one-on-one with Ink. But if it were to be like a whole calamity with a bunch of different people, that'd be a whole different story. And so, basically, the Darkner world, all of a sudden, basically, Lancer, Des, and frickin' Vanilla Sands plus Dust Sands and Blueberry Sands, like Blueberry, uh, are just like, uh, what do we do though? And Air's like, I meant home field advantage in more than one way. You idiots. I'm outie. 555 100. It's like blink, boom, he's gone. And so basically, Lancer just takes it as, oh, what do we do? Eh, it's basically like, okay, well, I guess we could recruit some people, the Darkner world. What's the worst that could actually happen? Like, he couldn't destroy his own creations, right? Even if they were more side projects to him, he still wouldn't go that far, right? And Vanilla's just like, kid, if only you knew. And Des is just like, well, it can't hurt to try. And Vanilla's just like, he was hoping that Des would agree more with him, but then again, he was thinking that inside his own mind, so. And Des isn't a mind reader, so he wasn't able to hear that. And so Vanilla's just like, oh god, no. And so Lancer rallies up anyone he can who actually thinks that they could be a help and would want to help to, you know, do this. And if you're wondering who the current king is, because, it would be a destabilization, like chaos and anarchy and chaos, if there was no, like, leader, well, there is a leader, but, I mean, they're not really important to the story, so just know that there is a leader. There is still stabilization within the Dark World. Because there was a new leader made. Like, someone chosen, because, they couldn't choose Lancer, because not only was he too young for the position, but he wasn't there to be chosen. Because he was just taken from the Dark World. And now he's reappeared, and, the only Darkner who's really opposing to the whole idea of Lancer, like, making this big whole thing, like, gathering up this army, is the king themselves. And Lancer's just like, I don't see you doing anything about it. And basically the king gets offended about that whole thing. And so what happens? Vanilla straight up kills the king. And he's just like, smartasses piss me off, you know that. And so it's just like, after everything, it's just a big battle like Helm's Deep. It's like, clash. So it would just be no man's land out there. And don't think Ink didn't think about this, like the possibility that Error really wouldn't want them having a war in his, freaking anti-void, so, he would throw them somewhere else. Don't think that Ink didn't think about the possibility of that happening. Ink isn't stupid. He has shown time and time again that he knows how Error thinks. And so what does he do? He, he's like thinking in his head. Like, he can create things. What about things that have been destroyed or have died in the past? He can't really bring back the dead, but he thinks he might know someone who can. Or maybe be able to reverse the process by creating a formula that, is basically the same as a certain magic of a monster he knows. He basically creates a formula using, like, leftover residue of magic of a friend of his, Timetail Sands. So he basically uses Timetail Sands as like residue from his magic and creates a little formula. And, he just has it in a little bitty test tube thing. But there's no finishing touches yet. Because he would need to contact different sands in order for that to happen. Like, he's using some of his magic to keep it stabilized and to like power the thing that would like stabilize it for him while he was gone getting the other sands. like magic from the other sands. And that other sands is Reaper Tail Sands. He's like, if you don't comply, I'll make you. He's like, Ink isn't pussyfooting around. He's like, comply or else. It's just like, it's like, do it or else. So basically, there's Time Tail Sands' magic and Reaper Tail Sands' magic and Ink's magic mixed into a formula. And this formula here, Ink uses to bring back some very pissed off Lightners. Yeah, like a whole big, a long time ago, a big war thing, like, brought about, the Lightners and Darkners. Before they were buddy-buddy, before the second geyser thing appeared, before they actually became friends, they were enemies. And then they became friends, and then that created the balance. But, he's going back a long time ago to, like, the Lightners that were not friends with the Darkners. Like, he is going a long ways back to find, like, the burial grounds of those specific Lightners. He is going to make his own undead Lightner army to basically counteract the actual living Darkner army that Lancer is rounding up here. And Lancer has no idea that Ink is doing this. That Ink is basically cheating in order to win. Like, he shouldn't even have to do this. Like, he should, like, just, like, assimilate them from the inside out. Like, or just, like, disassimilate them. Like, take them out from the inside. But no, he wants to rub it in Vanilla Sands' face before he crushes everything that he has ever loved. For, like, denying, and, like, basically denying him the chance to, like, ring him in. And, for his own personal gain. Like, Ink has his own personal gain he's worrying about. His own personal gain that Vanilla does not like him for. His own thoughts that Vanilla, things that Vanilla is very opposed to. And so you can imagine why they would not be friends. And so it's like, winter is coming. But instead of, like, winter is coming, it's like, it's kind of like in America, whenever, like, the guy comes in and he's just like, it's like the American Revolution. It's like, the British are coming, the British are coming. It's like there's just, like, some random ass Darkner, like, on a ride, and he's just like, they're coming, an army, they're coming. It's just like, an army of many, old like, old folk, Lightners before the time of peace between Lightners and Darkners, Lightners of true evil and deceit. It's like, Lightners of true evil and deceit. And Lancer's like, the fuck? He's like, no, Ink, you cheating. He's like, he is so flustered right now. He's just like, so that's how you're gonna do it. Basically, he's like, I declare myself Command and General. He's like, yeah, I am going to run this. This is my land. I'm running this war. Or at least my side of this war. Seeing as this is my home turf. And if he wants to play dirty, well, I have news for him. We Darkners are not weak. We Darkners are strong. Isn't that right, everybody? And all the Darkners are, like, rallying up because they were scared before, like, hearing the news, like, holy shit, like Lightners from that long back, like resurrected to kill us? Holy shit. But now they're rallying behind their king, like, or like commanding general of sorts. New commanding general, like now commanding general. They're rallying behind the guy, kind of like he's a celebrity for once. And it's just like, they're rallying behind him like, Lancer, Lancer, Lancer. Lancer can do this. Like, he feels like, I can win. I can do what Dad thought I could never do. I can make things right. Now, you and you over there. He just like giving orders, like military orders. But Lancer, it's been a few years, but Lancer still is not, the type to be doing this. Like, he needs a few more years or some sort of traumatic experience before he can get off the grind of green, as Snake would say, like green. Lancer's still a little bit too green for this to work. And whenever I say for this to work, I mean legit for this to work. Even though they have like the morale bonus, they're still gonna lose. And bad. Because, you know, all of this morale boost just pisses Ink off even more. And so he's just like, no mercy. He's just like, no mercy. And whenever it gets to the point where it might actually look like a Helm's Deep clash, like they're just like, like people are just leaping in to like legions of freaking soldiers and coming out with no scratches, like they be doing this night and day, like just like a war of attrition at this point. Like Ink is like, finally it's time. I guess there's no other way. You leave me no choice. Ruler of Darkness, you leave me no choice. Send out the Bad Time Trio. And so basically, yeah, Classic Sans is just like, ugh. Other pap, other kid. Do we really have to do this? Uh, I don't like this one bit. I really don't like this one bit. They're innocent. They did nothing wrong. They're just following someone Ink doesn't like. The orders of someone Ink doesn't like. And for that they have to die? It's not right at all. When did Ink get so high and frickin' mighty? And Swap the Pirate just smacks him in the face and is like, pull yourself together or I'll make you. We are far too deep into this to go back now. You were aware of the consequences, weren't you? You were aware that it would get to this point. Then why would you, if you plan to chicken out? And basically, Classic Sans retorts with a slap to Swap the Pirate's face. And he's just like, don't you put your hands on me again. And second of all, I never thought it would get this bad. Never thought Ink was this crazed of revenge. What the hell did Vanilla do for this to have to happen? And basically, Story Shift Chara is the only one who is in, like, Classic Sans' favor here. Like, Story Shift Chara is just like, it's true. None of them deserve this. This is too cruel, even for me. And I'm a human. But you do know Ink is the one who called us up. If we don't show up within a certain amount of time, he's going to think that we're trying to betray him. And so Classic Sins is just like, damn it, you're right. Listen, other kid, I don't hate you, but I really hate it whenever you're right. Most of the time, if not all the time, whenever you're right, it's something that really stings. You're right about. Fine then. And they just show up to a bunch of darkness, like charge, like charge, and all of a sudden they get stopped by like some sort of blue soul attack. It's like, vroom. You won't have a bad time. Sure looks like that's how it's gonna happen. Have to happen. It was like, and story shift char is like, I never meant for it to get this way, but orders are orders. It was like shing shing shing, and Story Swap doesn't even bother saying anything. He's just like so freaking like they like freaking Classic Sans and Story Shift Chara knew the outcome, knew what was going to happen, yet they accepted the call to duty anyways. So he has really no sympathy for them. Or at least none that he's gonna show upright. Especially with Ink around. So he just like and so yeah. Basically the majority of the Darkner like soldiers get mowed down. And there's just so many like dead like Darkner, excuse more, dead Darker people, like bodies. And at the end of it, it's just like Ink is just like, it's not enough. I won't rest until he's gone. And so Ink just has like an exclamation point bone. Like those exclamation point attacks? Like he has an exclamation point attack pointed right behind Vanilla. And it's just like Des and Lancer kind of both realize it, but Des kind of blue souls Lancer away before he can like try to cover for Vanilla, and so he covers for Vanilla, and so he's the one who gets and since it was like an exclamation point attack, basically this one like explodes out into a bunch of particles, and so it's like really freaking hard to see whenever Lancer like gets back to consciousness because he got knocked out by that blue soul attack. Like freaking Des has never actually attacked him before and meant to attack him. Partly because Vanilla would murder him, and he knows that from experience. Sadly, he knows that from experience all too well about Vanilla Sans and his connections with Lancer. But thing about that is, whenever Lancer comes to, he's just like, where is everything? Why? Why are there so many dead? Did we lose? even if we lost, where's Des? And he just ends up finding Dream. Dream's alive, and actually killed off some of like the reincarnated Lightners because halfway through this, like Dream was like, "Color Sands, I don't care if you try to stop me because of your whole neutral thing." Like he was just like he was with the whole idea that you know he's just like, and like Fresh is just like, "Yeah, I'm out of here. It's too graphic for me." And Color is just like, "Yeah, that coming from a parasite." Fresh is like, "What?" And Color's like, "You don't want me to repeat what I said. Trust me, you don't want me to repeat what I just said." And so Color and Fresh are not in. They never got into it at all, unless like Color was like picking off random people, trying to stay hidden, so that like Ink never caught on that it was Color doing the picking off. And Fresh just picked off whoever he felt needed to die. Because Fresh is like alignment none. He's like zero alignment with anybody. Even though I believe he's related to Ink. I believe he's related to Ink, and so is Error in some way. But whatever. Like they're all related to each other, but again, whatever. And like basically Lancer is like trying to pry from Ink, like, where the hell are Des and Vanilla? And Dream is just giving him that look like, one of those I can answer very clearly, but the other, and basically they just teleport to back to where Lancer was before the explosion. And they see a very much so impaled carcass, or whatever you would call like a very, 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 very dead skeleton. And like it's just, he was so dead that he actually kind of mixed in with the attack. And so his body didn't fade because the attack didn't fade. So his freaking dead body is just stuck there. He wasn't able to fade to dust. And like it's just, like basically dust or blueberry. Like, where you might be asking, where are they in all of this? Well, Dream made the smart decision of evacuating them from the premises before either of them got killed. Like, if Blue died, like, freaking Dust would have had a freaking shit fit and murdered everyone right then and there that he could. And if, Dust died, like, you guys have seen the horror games based off of Underswap Sands, right? Yeah, that would have not been pretty. Just saying. Would have not been pretty at all. Just imagine that on rage mode. Like, you're effed. And so, you know, like, Lancer just gets down on his knees and he's just like, I wasn't able to do what needed to be done. I tried to save Vanilla, but he pushed me away and saved Vanilla for me. Why? Why am I so weak? And well, yeah. um, Dream is like about Vanilla. I wasn't able to find him, and from what I'm able to tell about the surrounding area, he's definitely nowhere near here. And I can definitely tell he was not completely obliterated, because usually whenever that happens to souls that are centered around determination, whereas some sort of item that's centered around a certain soul trait, there's a way I can tell. It's like their hopes and dreams ring out in their last bit of emotion. So I could definitely tell that he's probably, like, mostly probably not dead, but who knows at this point? And there's anything could be a possibility. So, Lancer, what are you going to do now? And Lancer is just like, well, Dream, I I guess you could say I got these people into this mess. I should at least repay them. Their former king is dead, and I think by now I'm far less green than Vanilla once thought I was. And if you need proof, and he just summons a fully formed, like, it looks like a Gaster Blaster, but not. Like, it kind of has, like, the hood design that Lancer has on his head. That kind of makes the black part look like a spade. It kind of has, like, that. It's kind of like it's kind of like a Gaster Blaster with a hoodie. And Lancer's just like, I call these Lancer Blasters. And he points them towards Dream, and Dream is like, I'll be going now. And Dream, and basically Lancer's like, you best, if you don't want to die. And Dream just escapes in the nick of time. Basically, Lancer is going insane because he just lost. Basically, Des just died, and he has no idea where Vanilla is. Like, he knows Vanilla's alive, yeah, but basically, Vanilla, you know, is just he's just like he's probably not gonna be able, if Dream can't find him. How is he gonna be able to find him? And so, like, it can be understood that Lancer is like in a state of just pure, like, he is freaking distraught and, like, just disarray as hell. So yeah, he's just distraught, and his mental state is just in a state of destroy. Like, he is just in pieces. He is just not home at the moment. Is his sanity? Like, the majority of it is not home at the moment for Lancer. Like, this is like a big blow to him. But then he remembers, wait, those Lightners, the ones they call themselves Chris and Susie. Wait, weren't they supposed to be? Oh yeah, now I remember. the visits that we usually have, and like out of the rubble, they like there's like a body that falls to the ground, and basically like Lancer doesn't automatically recognize the body, but whenever the person takes their hat off, basically reveals who they are, like Lancer just puts two and two together, like two and two equals four. It's just like, you're Rouse. And she's just like, you, uh, I'm gonna need a minute. If Chris and Susie are supposed to come by soon, well, I don't want to have them see the entirety of Card Castle and everything around it looking like this. So, please, can you at least try to give them a message to say, like, wait a little bit, wait a while, because there's some things that need to be done. And so basically, Rouse does her best to, try and use a magic spell to, like, shove the letter through, like, the portal and out to the other side. And so whenever Chris and Susie come into the room, basically Susie realizes it and just realizes, the past few times that they've been there, like both like Chris and Susie have seen Lancer write different things. Like they have seen him write, and so they know his handwriting. And this is clearly like like uh someone trying to interpret his handwriting in like a way to like self assure someone, but in what way they're not really sure. And so they're both just like, basically what the message is trying to say. Like Susie's just like, Chris, it's a message from Rouse. They're saying that Lancer, he's apparently taken up the position of the new king of the Darkner world, but there's some things that are a little off that he needs to have time to fix before we can come here. Or at least he would like to have the time to fix them before we're there. It says it's a little embarrassing. Well, to him it is. Not to Ralph, because she just thinks that it's something that needs to be fixed, but not really something that would be embarrassing. Okay, Chris. We need to write back to them how long that we need to wait. And so they do exactly that, and then they get a second letter. It's basically Ralph telling them everything, you know, Lancer wants her to, write to them. Basically, the letter that they get the second time, you know, like 3.5 weeks, shouldn't take that long. And the reason why it's not going to take that long, like only 3 to 3.5 weeks, is because of the training by Vanilla. I mean, Vanilla wouldn't just be a one-trick pony. He wouldn't just be a one-trick pony. He would teach Lancer a lot of shit in their time together, you know? Plus, Lancer's actually wanting to learn a little bit about, control from Ralsei. Like, see if there's some stuff that he can learn from Ralsei. Because he is like, since they basically don't have a king because Vanilla Sands freaking murdered the new king. Good job on that, buddy. Sarcasm is sarcastic. Anyways, you know, which basically says like 3 to 3.5 weeks, and basically it takes Rouse say before any of the stuff to do with like Chris and Susie, like Rouse say was Indy like teaching like Lancer about how like he has all this power. Like Lancer, you're right, you have all this power, but like you were saying, you want to learn how to control it? Like she's just like cocks to her head, like cocks her head sideways. And Lancer's like, for the fourth time, I'll say, yes! I want to learn how to focus my power and use it correctly, for as much as you can help. Please, if I'm to be their king, I have to be strong. Yeah, Lancer is basically, his dad was the former king, but Lancer wants to be an actual good king. He wants to, he just doesn't want to be some tyrant or some, like, just jerk. He wants to be a good king. The king, especially, like, the king that they would need after something like what happened, like with all the darkness getting freaking mowed down. He wants to be the king that they would need after that, like a strong king, someone to help boost their morale again in a way that wouldn't seem like it's just like waiting to be duped again. He wants to make it all genuine. He wants to be a good king and do what good kings do for all of their subjects and, all the people that, would depend on the king. And that's basically 100% what he tells Rousey. He wants her or him or whoever to teach him how to, control, like, get everything, like, as good as they can, with as much power as they can. Do their best job at getting the king to be as kingly as possible, like, the best king that Ralph say can make him, is what he wants from Ralph. And so Ralph is like, just like, just like, Ralph is just like, oh, okay then. And so basically all the time in between then and, well, right about the time that Susie's like, Chris, are you ready to go? The 3 to 3.5 month mark is done, so everything should be good. Are you ready? And Chris is like, yeah, I'm ready. Ready to see them again, Susie. Ralph say, Lancer, it's going to be great. And Susie's like, hell yeah, it's going to be great. I get to see my friend. My friends. Lancer, you better not be pranking us. Us waiting this long better have been for something important. And basically, like, freaking Chris, Chris would just be like, oh, Susie. Why, Susie? And so, whenever Chris and Susie eventually do get back to the Dark World, they see that things have been changing for the better. And the first person to greet them is actually Ralsei. And Ralsei is just like, Oh, uh, Chris, Susie, I'm so delighted to see you that you're back and that you gave Lancer the time that he needed to fix everything and get everything back into shape after what happened with the past two kings, the Chaos King and the King of Disorder. Yeah, the second king is the King of Disorder. That's basically the only name I'm going to give him, King of Disorder. Because if it's the Chaos King and you know the second king, I'm just gonna name the King of Disorder. After the Chaos King and the King of Disorder, after him, we had been under the King of Disorder's rule for so long. We hadn't known happiness for so long. But Lancer has agreed to be our king, and I'm so excited for you to see just how well he's been doing around us. And so Susie is just like, wait, you mean like Lancer's the third king? He's king? And Susie, her face, like, even though she's trying to hide it, like, Chris knows. It's like, I am proud of you, man. My mans. Like, Susie's like, my mans, I am proud of you. And, well, it's Susie. Susie likes Lancer. She can't help it. She likes the little guy. Well, he's not so little anymore. Like, everyone's aged up considerably. Excuse moi. I can smell my noodles from that. Basically, you know, everyone's grown up considerably from their last time being there. And Susie and Chris are by now at least more aware of the alterations that happen to them whenever they enter the dark world. So you know, like look, the differences do show because time has been moving differently in the dark world than in the light world. It moves differently. And so there are considerable changes to like Chris and Susie's appearances, like in Deltarune. Like their appearances change in Deltarune. So with the passage of time would come, you know, their appearance like aging up as they would age up in the real world. Their appearance in the Darkner world would also age up as well. But, the heck with that. Like, Susie just wants to know where Mr. Like, freaking. She just wants to know. Like, she's just breaking it to Ralph say just right in front of her face. She wants to know where Lancer is. And Ralph is just like, well, Susie, um, he's in the garden. And like Susie's like, what garden? And Ross is like, oh yeah, I should be more specific nowadays. Uh, Card Castle Garden. It's a garden that's right outside of Card Castle, the king's home. Even whenever the King of Disorder was alive, that was his home as well. It's never really changed from the position that it held before, whenever the Chaos King was alive. And Chris and Susie are just both like, "What? He was ever dead?" Like they were like he was ever dead? Like, okay then. It's just like it's just like Susie's like the close to the entrance or around the entrance of Card Castle. And so they basically are walking through, and since like it was a full pacifist run before, like every time they went in, they get full pacifist run. Like all the monsters are friendly and nobody wants to really fight, unless it's like a friendly sparring. But Susie really isn't interested in that, and Chris can see that on their face. They're just interested to get to this card castle garden where Lancer is. And Lancer is kind of wearing like sort of like an Asgore thing where they have like royal attire, like the same cape that his father wore, the Chaos King, the same cape that he wore. Like Lancer wears a smaller version because he is still younger than his father at this point in time. Younger than his father was whenever Susie and Chris and Ross say, first duked it out with the dude. So yeah, basically, it's like a smaller version of that, and basically, Lancer is decked out in it as kind of like a royal thing. Like all royals wear their own kind of size version of it. Like there was the Chaos King, then the King of Disorder, and Lancer, he's just as the people of the underground, like if they wanted to be all formal with the dude, like Mr. Fuzzy Buns, if they wanted to be like formal with the guy, like formal with Asgore, they would call him King Asgore. And so the people that want to be formal with Lancer, they just call him King Lancer. And Lancer's actually pretty fine with that. He doesn't seem to care. If they want to be formal, let him be formal. He doesn't really want to boss anyone around. He just wants, respect. He would like to be a king that is respected, and people have no problem with respecting him because even though they lost the war, like their king is still like Lancer was still like Lancer, like he did whatever he could to ensure like like basically what I'm trying to say here is that Lancer has a lot more support than he did like before, like the first time that Susie and Chris went into the Darkmoor world. He has a lot more support and a lot more dignity and a lot more respect behind him. And so people usually, you know, if they're actually talking to him, they will, call him formally. They will say, King Lancer. But if it's just like they're talking to someone else about him, they'll like probably like call him like a nickname that they think suits him. Like with Papyrus, whenever he was like talking about Asgore. Like whenever Papyrus like was talking to you about Asgore in the game. Yeah, how he just addressed him differently than how some other people address Asgore. You know, Lancer, whenever someone is talking to him, they will address him formally. But if it's just like a talking to like in between another person or like a group talk that doesn't involve like like that Lancer himself is not a part of, they will probably give him a nickname or something. Maybe they will still be formal, but maybe not. Like it's a respect thing. And so basically, instead of like Chaos King or the King of Disorder, he is just King Lancer. Like, kind of like, you know, King freaking basically Lancer, like, whenever all of the people, even after he lost, he was like weirded out because all of the people rallied behind him because of like the part of his personality that he showed that he was willing to put everything aside, put himself aside. He was willing to do what was needed to be done in order to like make things right. He even tried to put him put like Vanilla's life like above his own by actually trying to like bum rush Vanilla so that the explosion would attack him instead and Vanilla would be safe. But instead, Death Blue sold him away and bum rushed Vanilla, and then like basically, Death is dead now. And so there's like a freaking monument thing that basically doesn't just have Death's life on there. Like there is like a statue of Death on top of the monument, like the plaque, I guess you could say. There is a statue of him on like there, and it has like Lancer whenever he was like a kid, and also has Vanilla Sans in his human form, like extra vanilla. It has the three of them on there. It's like a big statue on top of the plaque. It's like a big monument, and it has all the names. Basically, it has the king's name. It has freaking you know Des. Des is like you know like all the people, all of the Darkners that died, you know, fighting in that war, and nobody forgot to write down Dess's name, even though he wasn't a Darkner. Anyone who died who was on the side of them, their names were wrote down and put on that plaque. And, there were like gravestones, like a graveyard area, and people still come to that graveyard area to this day to pay their respects. And it's just the sweetest sight ever because, it lets Lancer know, it lets everyone know that everyone in the Darkner world know that, you know, now things are going to be different because whenever Lancer was told that he was going to get the opportunity, like to choose if he wanted to be king or not, of course he chose that he wanted to be freaking king because, then he wouldn't just be some general calling the shots from the battlefield. Well, of course, if he had to do that, he would do it, but, you know, if he was the king, then any like big decision that he could use to prevent war from even happening. Like if there was a way to do that, he would probably most likely do it. You know, like Lancer would have a lot more control on how things worked. Lancer would just be he would just be in awe of like the fact that he finally could make up for basically in his eyes, not being able to, you know, not being strong enough to protect those he cares about. And, Vanilla had always taught him that that's something important, that's an important thing to protect those you care about. Because, Vanilla, he believes in that. He believes that to protect those you care about makes you stronger than someone who would just, fight for themselves. it makes you a stronger person than them because you fight for others. You don't just fight for yourself. And that's what Vanilla's beliefs were. And seeing as, like, Lancer knows that, like, Vanilla is indeed alive, it's just they haven't found him yet. He's, like, just hoping. Every day, he wakes up, he hopes. He sleeps, he hopes that one day they'll be able to find him. So they're still holding off on, pronouncing him dead. Because, you know, you know, it's like a freaking, like, it's kind of scary just how, like, Lancer gets whenever people mention deaths around him. And it's also really freaking scary whenever people mention Vanilla around him. Because it's a very touchy subject. And, you know, Lancer is also garnering himself some hatred for the people that are responsible for, like the death of one of his friends and the, disappearance of another. You know, yeah, Ink, you know, he really doesn't blame Dream, but he really does indeed hate Ink with a, like, down to his core now. He has that deep, embedded hatred for Ink. Well, what's this? It's something seems to be, going up. It's like Ralph says like, ahem. And then Lancer's just like, oh, that's right. I was going to say something. And Susie's like, yeah, what do you gotta say? He's like, yeah, what do you gotta say, Lancer? And Lancer's just like, well, as king, I was indeed feeling that I would need someone to help me with the proceedings around here. Uh, possibly, a royal scientist. Someone to help things operate around here. You know? A way for people to live easier, live better, a prosperous lives for the people, the darkners of the darkner world. A way for them to live prosperous lives. So, whenever I heard about the possible position of royal scientist, well, and what it entailed, I entrusted the position to none other than the only other person in this world that I could say I truly trust with everything, that doesn't, usually leave for their own world's activities. Not saying that I don't like you, Susie, Chris. It's just Ralph seems to be the only other one that, stays here permanently. And so I entrusted the position to them. Real scientist, or I'll say. And the ceremony, it was great. I wish you two could have been there, but, well, we were still fixing things while the ceremony was happening. I wish I could have seen how events happened, but I was, well, the main reason why, it's just, it's complicated, okay? It's been very complicated lately. And making sure everyone's happy, you know, that's not always easy to maintain. The happiness of your people of your world. It's not always easy to maintain that happiness. And Susie would just be like, ah, Lancer, I. And just Lancer would be like, no, it's fine. It's. And then Rosse would be like, uh, uh, King. And Lancer would just be like, Rosse, I told you, you don't always have to come. And Rosse is like, no, it's important. They're rather abnormal levels of, what do you call it, DT? Two different, rather strong levels of DT approaching. Uh, Portal to this world. No, wait. They're not coming from that direction. They're coming from a different direction. They're coming from all sorts of directions. It's almost like this sensory invention is going haywire because of their very presence here. And it's just like, and it's like, oh no, my invention! And like, like Lancer's like, oh God, what did we get ourselves into? And then just all of a sudden, like someone would come out, and it's like, uh, hi. And this person is like mostly in white, but their eyes are kind of like they're mostly black, but they have like white centers and like a white ring around the center. And they like their stripe on their shirt is black, and their pants are also they're like a light gray but not, and like the slit eyes that they normally have, it's like black. It's just they're just like mostly white, but there are some details which are more like darker colors, and they're just like, uh, my name is Frisk. What's yours? And then there's just like this black creature that just comes out of this Frisk, like this version of Frisk back. And then like the basically the thing is like, and I'm their sister. They're sisters. I will kill you if you even try to touch them. Is that understood? Good. And Lancer's just like, does anybody else find that weird? And then, like, the kid who called themselves Frisk, they just freaking, like, start to, like, pass out. And, like, before they fall to the ground, Chris actually, like, freaking catches them, and Susie tries to help them up with Chris. And then, like, something comes, like the black monster thing that tried to come out is like, what are you doing trying to touch them? And this creature is mostly black with like little outlines of white and like a white center, like white dots for their eyes and like white rings around them. I said get away from my sister. What gave you the right? Who gave you the right? Who said you could touch her? And then like this Frisk gains consciousness a little and is like, they were only trying to help Chara. And the person coming out of Frisk's back is just like, only trying to help. Fine. The one down there that I'm stuck inside of, mostly. Vanilla Frisk. And I'm Vanilla Chara, their symbiote protector, and also their older sister. The type of symbiote I am? Well, that's rather easy to answer. You don't even have to ask. Revenant symbiote. And if you want to hurt them, just creates a freaking green flame. Just like, you're going to have to get through me first, scum. And they're just about to channel like a green fireball right into Chris's face. And Susie like gets the axe, like is about to go down, and like basically Lancer stops them both with like the card magic. So yeah, basically Lancer uses the spade magic, the card spade magic, to pin both like the Revenant symbiote, like Vanilla Chara, and Susie down. They're both pinned, and Susie's just like, Lancer, when did you learn how to do that? And basically, you know, uh, just Susie's like, when did you learn to do that? And Vanilla Chara's like just like a hissing monster, like not really even a monster, like a hissing demon. But then again, remember a revenant symbiote. So yeah, like undead, an undead symbiote. So yeah, what would you expect from a like revenant symbiote that's like attached to this version of Frisk? But they did say that they were vanilla Frisk and vanilla Chara, so they're probably from the same universe as Vanilla Sans. And so that's one of the main several reasons why, Lancer stopped. And like one of the other many reasons is that, well, yeah, this is like, you know, the Darkner world is more of a world of a peace now. And so if there was like a fight that broke out, it would kind of disrupt the whole theme of peace that he's trying to keep with the Darkmoor world. And third reason is there's like a bunch of different reasons. Most of them involved the fact that he doesn't want people to kill each other, and he wants to keep Susie safe because him and Susie are friends. But he also is interested in this person who calls himself freaking Vanilla Frisk, Vanilla Chara, interested in them. Like, he's like, Ralse, you're the royal scientist. You do, like studying and stuff, like, all your scientific duties. You're the royal scientist. You do the scientific shit. So, yeah, that's, things. That's how they go. And so Chris and Susie just got in here, and already they are, getting down with some really shady shit. And so, yeah, this will end part 3 of What If Vanilla Sans was. Well, what if. Blah, 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 blah. What if Lancer was friends with Vanilla Sans? And just because Vanilla is not really around anymore does not mean this what if cannot continue. It just means that now I kind of have something else to explore. Hmm. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. One of those things I can do, one of those things I'm not really that good at. Can you imagine what that is? Anyways, Alan's Anadossis because the Dark Shadow Network is OUT out of here. Ya boys, bye.